The reason, the rhyme. 5 things that mean something to me and the reason why. This time, ancient tucker, Altaid and tucker. I'll explain that in a bit. Right, first. Ancient tucker, Altaid and tucker. Once a tucker, always a tucker. A tucker is someone from the Twente area of the Netherlands. And this comes back to me living over there. My dad was a footballer, he played for FC Twente, so he lived there from 1982 to 1985. When this first song hit my consciousness, 1985. So this is all about songs that remind me of living in Enschede in 82 to 85. This one's a weird one to begin with though. I started looking into this last week, last Thursday, and the following day on BBC4, they were doing a repeat of Top of the Pops, and this exact episode was on TV after all these years. It's one I remember really, really vividly and fondly because the Smiths' How Soon Is Now was on there, which is another one of my all-time favourite songs. But this first song was on there, and it was the one that blew my mind at the time. And it was Killing Joke, Love Like Blood. And the reason why this had such an impact on me, I think, was, well, a couple of reasons really. One, Jazz Coleman, the lead singer, looked absolutely demented. Big bushy eyebrows, mad staring eyes, this demonic stare, very, very charismatic. But then the song, the music itself, starting off with that sort of staccato, Morse code bass, melodic, rhythmic, expressive all at once. Absolutely amazing. And then I'm an absolute sucker for guitars with a chorus pedal. And the fact that this was on the same episode, as the Smiths, opened my eyes slightly. I knew about the Smiths because my uncle was into them. But I wasn't aware of the fact that this indie thing was a genre or a movement in itself. I didn't know much about it back then because we were living obviously in the Netherlands. I didn't know much about the English indie scene. I was to learn a lot about it when we moved back home in 85, but this is where it started. And then realising that this was a genre, a movement in itself. After that, I got to learn about Echo and the Bunnymen, The Cure, bands like that, but it all started with the Smiths and Killing Joke, especially on this one episode of Top of the Pops. Kurt Cobain absolutely loved Killing Joke, so much so that if you listen to the song 80s and then listen to Nevermind by Nirvana, you'll see exactly where they stole. I can't remember the name of the Nirvana song is now, that's how bad my brain is, but you'll know what I mean when you hear it. Is it Lithium? Might be, I don't know. But yeah, Killing Joke, Love Like Blood, absolutely superb song. See if you can see the video as well and see Jazz Coleman being Jazz Coleman. What a great frontman. What a band. Listen to more of their stuff as well, not just that one song. They are a superb band. And yeah, that's my first one. Up next, Walking with Mr. Wheeze by Madness. This was the B-side to the smash hit Our House. This, as soon as I hear the first couple of bars of this, I am taken straight back to our house in Cockleman, London, number 75 if you're interested. In my bedroom and towards the back of the house, sun coming in through the windows, Everton shirt hanging on the back of my door, and that sense of slight homesickness. Despite the fact I love living there, I felt I was missing out on things. So it was a bit of a balancing act at the time. But this was an amazing song for me because it's a bit weird. I like weird. It's an instrumental, as Madness used to do quite a lot with the B-sides. It feels like they were trying to write a hit and it wouldn't come, so they just turned it into an instrumental and then weirded it up slightly. But I love it. Very sort of low baritone saxophones on there. And if you know me, I despise saxophones in music. Alto especially. But if you want to do it low, do it bassy. It's a very unusual song. I think it's one of the first ones I heard that got me into this idea of weird music being good. The kind of thing where when you're listening to it, you don't know exactly what's coming next. A lot of music I listen to nowadays, and I can, in my head before it even happens, I know what's coming next. It's all written to a formula, and it's bloody awful. When someone does something slightly different, for me it sticks out. Which is why I like Radiohead as much as I do, because you don't really know what's coming next. But that's what Walking with Mr. Wheeze was a bit like. There's a sense of dissonance about it, not like proper full-on jazz dissonance, but enough just to make it feel a little bit on edge, if that makes any sense. It's quite cinematic and atmospheric, so I like it. But it's just bizarre. The way it starts off, it doesn't start off like a normal song. But as soon as I hear it, with the those sort of sax stabs, I'm there. I'm back in my bedroom, back in the day. Wonderful stuff. Madness, Walking with Mr. Wheeze, B-side of Our House. Next is, anyone who's watched the first couple of episodes of this will know, the first album I ever bought was Welcome to the Pleasuredome by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and I bought that from a record shop in Enschede city centre. The very first album with my own money. So it's one of those albums that's stuck with me ever since, but it reminds me especially of living in Vicher, London, number 88, I think it was. No, number 18 it was, yeah. And it's bizarre, whenever I hear the opening, because it starts off with like loads of bird noises and what have you. Whenever I hear that little bit, it reminds me of being in there, being in that room. And I can smell the smell of the vinyl. I still have the vinyl album at home. The smell of the record player. I wish I knew what make a record player it was. It had a really unique smell. It had the sound where you put the needle onto the record. Just, I can hear it, I can smell it, I'm almost there, it's bizarre. And just every time I play it on Spotify, whenever I hear it on Spotify, I don't hear the Spotify version. I hear the vinyl version in my room in the Netherlands. And it just reminds me of being there. Brings back memories of playing football on a Saturday morning, of riding around on my bike. Just all these memories come flooding back, all because of, it's not even just that one song, it's most of the songs on the album remind me of that place, but in particular, the title track, Welcome to the Pleasuredome. Absolutely amazing song. Incredible production work by Trevor Horn. Lots of very good guest artists on it as well, including Steve Howe from Yes. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's crazy how music can do that to you. Not just, it's a suggestion of a time gone past. It immediately plonks you right back in there. Absolutely insane. But it's a brilliant tune, often overshadowed by Relax, which was the controversial hit at the time, and Two Tribes, which gets used to this day whenever there's a sporting event that gets used. But Welcome to the Pleasuredome was the one for me. Fantastic song. Up next, it is België by Het Goede Doel. This is the only Dutch language music on this particular list, which seems a bit out of order, but there was some good stuff back then. And I think it was a little bit Beatles and Stones at the time, because you were either a fan of Doe Maar or Het Goede Doel. And I didn't particularly like Doe Maar too much, even though listening to them back nowadays, they're actually a good band. But I was firmly in Het Goede Doel camp. And it's strange, I've still got the vinyl album, which I bought over there in 84, 85, I think it was. 84 probably. And I still listen to it. And despite the fact that my Dutch has gone from fluent to shite, I can still sing along, and I often do. And the song that really reminds me of being over there is a song called Iets van Gevoel, which is a really good tune. The album is brilliant though, despite the fact that you probably can't speak Dutch. Listen to it. You will enjoy it. I know I did. Anyway, Time to sort this bloody car out. Washer fluid doesn't last 5 minutes, does it? Up next, it is Dum Dum Girl by Talk Talk. A band who I loved back then and I still do to this day. A very brave band as well, I thought. When you think of the massive hits that they had, It's My Life, Such a Shame, Dum Dum Girl, Life's What You Make It, all that kind of stuff was going on. And they decided to then suddenly just disappear and start making ambient music. It's not the done thing really, is it? The record company must be saying to them, please write more hits. No, want to make the music we want to make, and I love them for that. I had It's My Life, I don't know, Such a Shame, Dum Dum Girl. Yeah, It's My Life, Such a Shame, Dum Dum Girl. I had those 3 singles. I think 2 of them came with little posters as well, so they were up on the wall. And it could have been any of those 3 songs that reminded me of them, but it's Dum Dum Girl for some reason. When I hear that, I'm sat in front of the record player, again in Vicar, London, just sat in front of me, listening to this music coming back from, and looking up at my wall, and I had posters of Talk Talk, Tears for Fears, and who else? There was someone else up there as well, which wasn't too bad really, was it, considering how young I was. But I loved, and I still love Talk Talk, possibly because of Mark Hollis's voice. It's a fairly unique voice, and I know that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Fairly unique, doesn't exist, but you know what I mean. In terms of voices, there's very few that sound even remotely like him. He always sounds to me as if he's holding something back, like he's about to explode, but not quite. You know the way when you want to try and shout to someone, but not be heard at the same time? You know what I mean? John, John, when you do that. When you're trying to shout John, but not get heard by anyone else in the world. That's what it feels like to me. There's a sort of a contained anger with what he's doing, and he just manages to hold it in, so I love that. Quite fragile emotionally as well at times, the way he sings. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Wrote loads of great hits, loads of really good pop songs, if you want to call them that. And then went and done loads of ambient music, turned into Brian Eno. Brilliant. Hugely, hugely admired by other musicians, and very well thought of by the critics. So they always got good like marks on the albums and stuff like that. Years later, they still sound fantastic. But Dum Dum Girl, what a tune that is. And his voice sounds just perfectly shouting with a whisperish. I know that means nothing to anyone else but me, but I know what I mean when I say it. Do you know what I mean? Why I'm asking you, you don't know. Yeah, Dum Dum Girl. But listen to anything by Talk Talk, they're absolutely fantastic. Go on, what are you waiting for? So there you go. There's my 5 things that mean something to me and the reasons why. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like that 5, why not check out Wheeze next? Or even these.